Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Happy Thursday. Hope you guys are all doing well. And holy cow, I put this up early because I got a little extra productive for the Matthew Moore stream last night. If you guys didn't watch that yet, that was actually a very fun time. Matthew Moore was on, and also one of the jurors that was in the case, Connie, juror number 8, she actually came on, and it was very interesting listening to them talk. So I don't think they've had that opportunity before. But in the meantime, you guys have just filled up the comments already. Let's see who got first. Job well done. Very well done. The third first and second lunch. Justin Hancock is saying, are we going to talk about Alec Baldwin? Yes. Eric Baldwin will be addressed tonight. He definitely will be. This is who we are. Hello. We'll get to Afro Man as well. There's a bunch. Oh my God, there's a lot of stuff happening tonight. Don't worry. Of happenings. Many happenings. Jim Satala is saying, check out I did see that. I watched that with Michael Malice and Dave Landau. Yeah, it's not a surprise. I mean, everybody's like that. I mean, that's show business. Show business, yo. That's how it ain't no business like it. Ain't no business like it. So, Zaven, hello. Harbor Warble, hello. Patty, geez, Patty, you're yes, Patty, I understand. You're not a fan. You're not a fan of the tribe, are you, Patty? Jeez. Parallax, hello. Two Scoops, hello. Tarkina, hello. I'm gonna just get to your first thing here. Member for 8 months. Thank you very much for the support. I really appreciate it. And you're like hard to believe I joined 8 months ago. It's hard to believe I was doing this 8 months ago. But yes, we are. So it looks like Danny Masterson is going to trial next week. They're going to retry him on the rape charges, which, like I said, we'll see how that goes. Oh, and Rumble from the Rumble Ghetto, Fractal Failure. Yes, you are the first. I'm surprised there's nobody else over there. Nobody's all but mine says Kim Potter's mugshot. Oh, we might watch that. Look for that real quick while we're waiting for people to show up. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but it's an image and new tab here. I mean, yeah, I mean, Kim Potter's picture, I mean, it's not supposed to be like, I don't know what you were expecting here, but it's, this is Kim Potter's release shot. Like, I mean, prison's rough. It's not fun. It's depressing. She's not going to have makeup there. Probably lost a lot of weight. When it's not like she's got a curling iron and everything set up in there. So I don't know what you guys were expecting, but yeah, you come out of prison looking rough. You come out of jail looking rough. Very few people come out of there looking better than they went in. So a name of some sort saying, how was the Matthew Moore stream? Oh, it was great. It was great. Matt is a great guy. I think everybody here enjoyed it. I recommend watching back through it. I tried to just steer things around a little bit, but it was very insightful. I think Matt has a lot of, introspection that he did. And I think it's very thoughtful introspection, especially for any of you out here who have never dealt with jail or prison before, to learn what it's like. How does it feel? How do you feel when you're in that system? He did a very good job describing it. And like I said, once Connie came on, the juror, listening to those two talk, and I don't think they've talked at the length they did last night. It truly was, it was inspiring and uplifting to listen to them talk and how they interacted. Hunch, I'll make a note of that. Holy cow, yes, guys, of all things tonight, it is 420. So if you happen to be an Adolf Hitler fan who likes the Columbine shooting and smoking weed, well, today's your best day ever. And then next year, if you like Fridays, it'll be even better. But yes, today is the 20th of April, which is known for many events. And then yesterday we commemorated the murder of a ton of people outside of Waco, Texas by the federal government. And then in addition, somebody striking back at the federal government through unconventional means. Let's see here. Let's see. Tarkina, you had a question. Oh, 2 scoops. I did not see that. I saw that last night. Yes. But it's not here anymore. It's gone. But yes, somebody congratulated me on adopting. We have a new dog, Clyde, little guy. I don't know where he is. Hey, Clyde. You want to come here, Bubba? Hold on. Come here, buddy. Come here, Clyde. Clyde, come here. Come on, Clyde. Come on. Yeah, whatever. Okay, I guess he don't want to come on. He's not coming on. Maybe he will another point. He's sleeping. He is some sort of Shih Tzu mix, something or another. Just got a little dog. But yeah, I do want to say thank you to Trista for that. Tarkina is saying for $5. Thank you, by the way. Alec Baldwin's charges are dropped. Does that weaken the charges against Hannah? The actual shooter gets away with it? Maybe. I mean, remember, Hannah still has her own liabilities. And I think ultimately things are going to start falling apart. Because if it's clear that it was a complete malfunction, which is what we'll get into why it's being alleged, Hannah might be off the hook too. Because if he can't be faulted, then how could she be faulted? I'm not sure. I am not sure. I should probably... and change that. It's Alec Baldwin. People actually care about that versus the other things in life. And Bifront, hello. Cedar Rose, hello. Swat the like button, yes. Very true. Porcelain Thunder, hello. Alpha Fox, hello. Freedom Thinker, hello. I was going to try to do the 30-second thing, but I didn't know if it showed up. I haven't really messed with that too much. The Amateur Iconoclast for $5. Thank you. I appreciate it very much, by the way. Well, it's finally official. Murder is legal in the state of New Mexico. We'll get, like I said, we'll get to that. We'll get to it. Although in full disclosure, Alec Baldwin can join the Wagner PMC group out of Russia because they like shooting unarmed Ukrainian women as well. I do something about it, Alec. Pyramid 7 says, full disclosure, I'm very close to the Yarl shooting. Ooh, interesting. Tadano saying, I just tuned in from Pippa. Well, I actually appreciate that. That's pretty flattering. Thank you. Rob Dorr, hello. Good evening. Thanks, Rob. Hope you're doing well. Gina saying, awesome interview last night. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Chaucerian Fraud, what's up? How are you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you again. Okay. Wow, you guys are just like ripping through. Rob is saying, oh, her initial mugshot. Yeah, Kim Potter's did. You know what, though? Sometimes it's like, I don't blame her. Like, what are you going to do in that situation? Like, bucket. Like, all you can do is, whatever. Drew Bradley saying there are 2 channels with your name on Rumble. They're both mine, and I don't know why it sets it up like that. Just click on the one that's got the little, the same icon like this channel has. And just, click on that one and watch it there. Because there should be only one going live right now. Harble saying Connie was interesting what she got going. Oh, Connie was a live wire. She was great. Hunch the Dirty Roofer for $5. Thank you. How are you doing, by the way, Hunch? I hope you're doing well. A side note: the gas station incident where the homie went 4-on-1 and wiped the other team. I don't. Hold on. I've been like busy as hell lately, so let me see. There's video of it. I definitely want it because I am. We need some good action. Yeah. Wow. Freaking homie put in work. That's impressive. That's impressive. Today's Dave Smith's birthday as well. Oh wow. Okay. Captain Chromo says it was good to see how seriously Connie, that's the Matthew Moore juror, and the others took their jobs. Yeah, it was also interesting with their straw poll, their initial straw poll. Within 20 minutes, they had all decided not guilty. That is that gives you hope because they were out for quite a while, and I know we were all sitting here wondering like, what the hell is going on? But they just went through all the evidence one more time. But that is really cool that they had already. I think it'd have been even funnier if they come back in 20 minutes and then just be like, nope. Professor Town says, well, I don't like weed. Well, try an edible. And I don't like weed either. Kyle Bogue says, $5. Thank you, by the way. Says most people celebrating 420 should be more worried about their 420 credit score. Dude. Corn and Cattle says OKC was an inside job. Well, OKC I think got a little out of hand from Feds and PatCon, but get ready on locals because I'm going to be dropping a video on that coming up in a week or couple weeks. More dog posting on Discord. I will. Wow, you guys are just like, all right. I guess it's time to get going in the meantime. Bass for 199 says spattered bouse. Yeah, I need to work on that. I forgot to put that cup together or for that stuff together for the store, but I'll do that. Chili has a new trifold. Yeah, we're gonna look at that. We're gonna look at that coming up. So, Unhung Hero for $2 says, I'm gonna come. Don't come. Don't come here. Any predictions on the SCOTUS abortion pill case? If the government didn't follow the steps in certifying the medicine properly, that's a issue. But I can see the court saying it's been so long and it hasn't turned out bad. You know, I can see the court saying this is a harmless error. I can see them, wanting to punt on it. So, yeah, not really sure, but we'll find out. Because I'm Batman saying, unfortunately, my off days changed. So I'll have to just listen or join the replay crew starting next week. Oh, hey, hopefully you come back and you're in the live team sooner rather than later. But got to keep working. And you got to pay for people somebody's got to pay for people on welfare. This bud's for you. Yeah, it is. Yeah. All right, guys. So I guess we'll get started now. Alec Baldwin. Yes, that Alec Baldwin. The Santa Fe shooter. The Ukrainian unaliver. The cinematographer assassin. Well, things have changed drastically in his case. The charges are being dropped. Now, we first heard this through his attorneys. And obviously, I believe that when I saw the articles about it, because if you're the defense attorney, you're not just going to say that because you don't just make that up. That would just be really stupid as hell. But apparently, the prosecution for right now is dropping charges. There's new evidence the gun may have discharged without the trigger being pulled. Maybe I'm surprised this got missed, especially with the FBI, because I know Runkle and we went through that report the one night, and they tore that gun apart. And I mean, and I guess the FBI really sucks if they missed this. Maybe they do. But the prosecutors, for now, have dropped the charges. Now, they have said, and there's two new prosecutors, Jason Lewis and another attorney named Carrie Morrissey. This doesn't absolve Baldwin of criminal culpability, and the charges may be refiled. And that's true. The way it generally works is you get a free pass. You get one. You can dismiss one time without any problems, especially this early in the case. He's been charged, and then before you get to a probable cause hearing, you're like, you know what? We're going to dismiss. We'll try it again later. Okay, cool. But what does that mean for everybody else? Well, they could refile it later. If they have more evidence, they can refile later. But the reality of it is, it's probably not coming back. Why do I say that? It's just a matter of what's being done here. And it's this point here. That there's new evidence shows the revolver could have fired without Baldwin pulling the trigger. And this is according to somebody with knowledge of the case. I mean, if there's evidence out there, that's reasonable doubt. That's reasonable doubt. And I think I said this from the start. I don't know if this is, I didn't think he was going to get charged, and it looks like he did, but I still don't think he ultimately ends up facing a case over this. And if there really is evidence that does show this, then he shouldn't be, because that is reasonable doubt right there. That is reasonable doubt if it is true. We'll have to find out. Certainly that'll come out in the future. These two attorneys said they couldn't proceed with the case because the newly revealed facts required further investigation and forensic testing. And I would argue, yes, if you don't know for sure, investigate, find out, and then come with charges. That's the way it should be done. So, okay, great. Go check. And if he comes back, and now I don't think they're ever going to come back with charges on him, but we'll see. The allegation is the gun was modified before it reached the set in a way that could have allowed it to fire a bullet without the trigger being pulled. Okay, so now we're talking about from a prop house. And if you go back through America's Untold Stories with Eric Hunley and Mark Rubert, they talk about the other people involved, including one of the prop houses and one of the ammo suppliers and people with guns. If that gun was modified by somebody else, well, somebody else might be on the hook. So there could be other people getting charged. This is just, though, this is, once again, this is kind of just, everything's been walked back. We charge them the manslaughter and the enhancement. Well, then we take the enhancement away because it doesn't work. And then we're still going to charge them. Well, but now we're not. Just when you keep walking it back like this, that doesn't inspire confidence that you're going to do anything. So I don't see anything happening to him going forward. Civil stuff has been all sorted out. But that's a separate thing there. There was a preliminary hearing scheduled on May 3rd. There's going to be something tomorrow, it sounds like, a formal dismissal of the case with the right to refile, but that'll probably be it. Hannah Reed is still facing charges. And then the other guy, Dave Hall, the assistant director, well, he already pled out. So, he's going to be in a tough position to come back. Let's say he wants to withdraw his plea, saying, hey, we found out this stuff is bogus. I don't know if they're going to let him, because it's really hard to withdraw your plea after you've been sentenced. But if I'm his attorney and I'm him, I'm thinking, well, God, we want to withdraw our plea at this point. We want to withdraw our plea and force them to dismiss our charges too. And if I'm Hannah Reed's attorney, I'm banging on the door saying, she's the armorer. She's not in charge of the guns before they came to the set. How would she know they got messed with? Then they might argue, well, she's the armorer, but she's not a engineer or like an actual, like, I can fix everything armorer. I don't know. There's a lot here. So, Hannah's attorneys are talking about the truth will come out and the questions that we have, alongside answers for will be answered. So, yeah, it's going to get slowly. This is going to just get slow played. They're going to start, eventually they're going to quietly dismiss Hannah's charges, and that's going to be it. Russ started refilming at the Yellowstone Film Ranch. God, I'm sure Alec Baldwin loves being there. And I'm sure everybody stays away from him while he's there, but that's it. So that's kind of the end of the Alec Baldwin saga. It's probably not going to, anything else is going to happen from it. So, Zane says the Hollywood horror. Yes. That dude from South Park. Eric Fulton saying it's a complete miscarriage of justice. But here's the thing: if there really is some reasonable doubt there, everybody's entitled to remember. You may hate Alec Baldwin, you may think he's a piece of shit, but we all have the same rights. And if they don't work for him, they're never going to work for you. So, and remember, I would rather have guilty men walk free than innocent people sit behind bars. That's the trade-off. It's one of those things. Freedom is scary. Freedom is dangerous. And that's part of it. You get unfair results at times. But it's better than having unfair results all the time. Turkina Meyer says we need some Marty Robbins gunfighter ballad music. Yes. Oh. Harbaugh Walrus says, I just injected an entire marijuana. Yes, be careful with the pot needles. Now, like I said, this evidence will finally be released at some point. If the case is closed, people can FOIA it. Or if it keeps going, it's going to get released. So we'll see what actually happened with that gun. Mountain Streams is saying Seth Kenny is the name of the guy Eric and Mark talked to. Yeah. We'll see. We will see. Robert Lawrence is giving him a gun again. Yes, they are. But I'm sure he's going to be doubly sure about everything from now on. So, Garrett says, Alec's not more dangerous than Freedom because Freedom never shot anybody. Yeah, fair enough. So, the Crying Shame says, money. Is this a case of money? Maybe. Like, it could be. I mean, certainly that's what this looks like. But I don't know for sure. If there really is this stuff out there, we'll find out about it. And we'll find out if it's true. And if it really is true, then great. There was reasonable doubt they can't go forward. But yeah, if it turns out money can buy you everything, then we just convince ourselves, we're just reconfirming that, yes, we have two separate systems in America. But until we know, we don't know. And until that point, I'm going to try to give some benefit to the system for right now. Wrestler Town says, if he shoots someone else on that set, I will never stop laughing. Yeah, well, yeah. Sniper's Nest. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Usually, you came. Well, I'm glad you came. To be fair, I'm usually stuck on replay crew. But anyways, guys, that's actually a good channel too. If you haven't found him, Sniper's Nest over here on YouTube, it's very good channel. He's usually on Saturday nights, usually 9:30, 10 o'clock. Pretty good stuff. So moving on, I guess from that to a shooting, which is kind of begun and developed, is the issue of Ralph Yarl out in Kansas City. Now, we don't know a whole lot. Obviously, the story from his family is, he went and, went up to a door and said, ding dong, and bam, he got shot. And then as he's laying on the ground, he got shot in the head. I don't think it happened like that. I also don't think it happened as he was trying to kick in the door and act like an ass. Don't think that happened either. Sniper says for $5 says, I came. To be fair, I'm usually stuck on the replay crew. Thank you, Sniper. I appreciate it. I appreciate the super chat. Oh, nothing wrong with coming though. Nothing wrong with a coom. So what happened? We don't really know. There are multiple stories out there. There's a couple news reports that said the police found a fingerprint on the storm door that wasn't the homeowner's. Okay, maybe. Is that still enough? No. Somebody knocking on your door or somebody, opening your storm door and, trying to knock on your door. No, you don't get to shoot people for that. But do I think it was just that? No. Do I think it was somewhere in the middle? Sure. I mean, it's an 84-year-old guy, and it's dark and whatever out going on. Could he have made a mistake? Sure. But he also maybe justified in self-defense. We really don't know yet. We have no idea. I don't know yet. It doesn't look good from the facts, but that means nothing now because a lot of stories we've covered over the past year or so haven't looked good because of the facts that we initially have, and then okay, well, it's not too bad at the end of the day. We'll find out. You're saying the grandson outed him as a racist. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, because that wouldn't be the first grandson who's a dick to his grandpa, but grandpa might be an ass. Grandpa might be a racist guy and said, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that black kid out there. Blam, 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 blam. I mean, he may have done that. And if he did, then great. He can have fun in prison. I love it. He's like 84, so being in jail is probably going to kill him anyway. If he did that, then fine. But we are a long way from figuring that out yet. And if you guys do want to see, he did have his arraignment. Where is it here? Thankfully, though, I will say, Ralph Yarl did survive. He's alive. That's, I think, probably the biggest thing because really I mean, getting shot in the head, although I don't know what getting shot in the head means, and I lost the thing of showing the guy getting arraigned, but um, Andrew Lester is his name, the guy who shot him, and he's currently in custody. Um, I will say there are some things I think are a little like I said, I just think there's enough here that we don't know what's going on. Um, where's his picture? Yeah, here he is. Um, YouTube's retarded. Yeah, they are sometimes. Wicked Money says grandson said he was a Fox News nut. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. There's enough wackadoodles to watch everything else. Was there any USB involvement in this case? No. This one has no USB involvement. Patty's saying being racist is not a crime, certainly, but that's, let's say he comes in the court and says, oh, he's a racist. He doesn't like black people. Well, I mean, that's, he obviously does not, mind throwing his grandfather under the bus. So, Wicked Money says QAnon grandpas have the best stories. And you know what? That grandson may have no idea who his grandpa is, know anything about him, but he might be right. Um, yeah, what if the grandson's a dummy? Okay. Um, Crump is a race vulture. You know what? There are times where he has been, but there are times where he's been involved, and it's okay. Well, the city better write a check. This is Andrew Lester, by the way, when he showed up for his arraignment or his initial appearance. So yeah, he's an old guy. He's 84. Like I said, he's gonna, being in jail alone is gonna be rough on him. He's been charged with a couple of felonies that are life. They're considered life felonies in Missouri. But here's the thing: he's 84. You put him in jail for a year, that could kill him. So anything that happens to him is going to be potentially a life sentence. And then yeah, it's yeah, that's why I would just say when it does come down to things like that, I don't think you can just say, oh well, fuck him because it's Ben Crump. We can do that, but we do that at our own peril. We do that at our own peril. Ooh, that was loud on the water. That was loud on the water. I don't think you can. I think you do that at your own peril, your own risk. He needs to go free. If he didn't, well, if he did it, he shouldn't. So if he did the crime, then he should face consequences for it. If he didn't, then he should. We'll find out. Only Sass says, well, only the SAS. You must be, yes. When it comes to your special mission units conducting direct action raids, apparently we only use the SAS in that household. No Delta Force allowed. He has two grandsons. The other one doesn't agree with the throw your grandpa under the bus one. And exactly. All it takes is, it's yeah. So we'll find out. Like I said, there's going to be some layers to this, and it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. I didn't know this. Sean saying aren't 32s low powered. He got shot with a 32. Okay, that makes some sense. Yes, a 32 ACP, which is 7.65 Browning, is a low powered round compared to things today. Back in the turn of the century, 32s were very common. In fact, in World War I, a lot of handguns that were made were 32s. So, no, for a very long time, 32 was not very good, but that was all you had. It makes sense that an 85-year-old man has a 32 because it's probably a gun he's had for 45, 50 years. Would I ever use a 32? No. But, you run what you brung. In my case, it had been a Glock 19 with PDX 1s in it. So, hit somebody that with those, they're not walking away. AD for $5. Thank you, by the way, saying, why was me saying I want to see what the investigation and ensuing court case says called racist? Because a lot of people think, well, they've seen the facts, they know the facts, that's good enough for them. But that's the, kind of on both sides of it. Think about Kyle Rittenhouse. Yes, a lot of people, including myself, thought Kyle was justified, but it could have come out in trial. He was completely unjustified. But people want to believe what fits their narrative. We are narrative-driven creatures. And one narrative is going to be more likely right than the other. It might be 100% on the nose or kind of right. And the other one might be kind of wrong or completely wrong or some varying shade of it. But we'll see. Garrett says you could kill this guy if you make him stand for an hour. Oh. Yeah. Harris saying, can you talk about the Sweet 16 shooting in Dadeville, Alabama? I mean, when you see those things like that, it was gang related. It was two brothers, and they were under 18. So, I mean, not much to it. I mean, it's Dog bites mailman. It happens all the time. That's most of these mass shootings are gang related shootings. They don't like to advertise that fact. Jim is saying he used a break barrel 1888 Smith & Wesson 32. My God, that is a boomer way to conduct a shooting. That is the most boomer way to conduct a shooting. If you guys aren't familiar with what that is, oh my God, that is the most boomerific way to get into a shooting with somebody. We're going to show this just real quick for 1 second. This is a Smith & Wesson 1888 right here, guys. This is the most boomery way to do it. This is the most boomery way to do it. So, yeah. Yeah, this is and 32, yeah. It could have been 32 Smith & Wesson. Yeah, you're right. But they're chambered in other calibers throughout the years. They made a bunch of them. It's a purse gun, yeah. Peyton Wong says 32 still take care of business. I mean, it can, but not the most effective way. Peter Spiney, yes, I'm going to cover that one briefly at the end. Oh, Jim, you're saying it was a 32 Smith & Wesson. Okay, yeah. We're catching up. I'm trying to catch up to everybody. Oh my gosh, here. Sniper's Nest for $5. Thanks, buddy. Saying we're both criminally undersubbed. Share us out. The algorithm hates us both. Yes, it does. I'm not better than you at all, man. Not at all. Not at all, guys. But yeah, if you guys do, Sniper's Nest over on YouTube is definitely worth a sub. Eric is saying that's why I carry a sawed-off 12 gauge. Yes, that takes care of it. Harble saying in this case the headshot wasn't fatal. No, but it also, I don't know what the headshot was. Did it like graze off his head or did it just like flatten against his skull? Or remember, this thing is a helmet. So it can deflect a lot of blows sometimes. Bullets can decompress and there's a million different ways. Bullets can bounce around and people have survived like that too. I think I remember when that Guinness World Record show used to come out like in the early 2000s. There was a guy who like personally had half of his brain blown away in a shooting and survived. So the human body can do all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. But once again, time will tell. Time will tell. There are updates. I guess I'll just touch on this real quick with the Sarah Boone. People were wondering about that. The letter she wrote to the judge, we finally got the front and back sides of it. And there wasn't anything additional. It was just her babbling. So we're going to just, good luck, Sarah. We'll find out in the future if more problems happen. Alexander's saying he also shot through glass. Yeah, but here's the thing. And remember, yes, he shot through glass. Glass is not a barrier. I mean, it's a barrier in the fact it's an obstruction, but it's just glass. So if he perceived the threat and he could see the threat, being behind a sheet of glass doesn't actually stop anything. Think about it. If you're behind a window and there's a burglar with a bar, crowbar, and he's about to smash it, well, are you protected? No, you're not. So, yeah. So it all, yeah. It all happens. But time will tell. Time will tell. But moving on, the nuclear tranny, Sam Brinton. Does he consider himself transgender or is he just consider himself a crossdresser? I don't know. Yes, he is was. Oh, I'll get to this one real quick. Alexandra says, why open the damn door if he's so scared? Call the police. Yeah. I mean, if you are really concerned, call the police. If it's dark out and it's late at night and somebody's knocking at your door, call the police. Although remember, you might be like the guy in Farmington, New Mexico. The police might show up at the wrong house and then shoot you. So, kind of catch 22 there. But yes, if it's, you know what I do at night if somebody knocks on the door? I don't open it. That's the easiest thing to do. You don't open the door. I might walk towards the door with a gun in my hand, but you know what I'm not doing is going and opening the door. You know, it's kind of like Three's Company. It's like, come and knock on my door. I'm not coming to see you. Because that's how it would go if you're knocking on my door. Sean's not coming to see you. I might use the ring and say, "Who are you?" And then if I recognize you, sure, then I might. But no, if it's after like 8, 9 o'clock and you knock on the door, I'm not opening it. There's no incentive to open it. There's no incentive. Nero saying, fuck that police or janitors. Open the door if the guy's the threat ended. Period. Why would you? I guess this is where I'd say, why would you intentionally put yourself up against a threat? If you have safety against a threat, you should remain in safety. If there's no reason for you to engage with that threat, don't engage with that threat. I would never encourage that. Unless you absolutely have to, don't. Zero Fuck says, I'm not opening the door during the day. Yeah, and I get that too. But yeah, Sam Brinton. Sam Brinton is a former energy department official who was stealing luggage. I forgot he uses they them. Has pled out to stealing luggage from, basically he'd walk up and steal women's clothes. And he would just walk away with suitcases that weren't his. And yes, he's one of the LGBT BMP T72 people. And he was part of the Department of Energy's nuclear. Oh God, what is he again? I forget. Yes, I'm sorry. He was the Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Office of Spent Fuel and Waste Disposition, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but spent fuel and nuclear waste are a very highly protected thing because you can use those to make radiological weapons, including dirty bombs. But yes, the guy who's in charge of that is running around like a lunatic, dressing like women and stealing women's clothes, not only from Las Vegas, but from other airports. So, he stole more than $3,500, which in Ohio, that would be a felony. For some reason, they didn't charge him with a felony. But what happened to him was he received a suspended jail sentence of 180 days. He must stay out of trouble for a year as part of a no contest to misdemeanor theft. They initially charged him with a felony, but it looks like they pled it down as legal fiction. So, is that fair? I mean, really, if it's a lot of people, he has no record. That's not uncommon. If you something like this, yeah. If it was us, though, if it was a normal person on the other hand, would you probably get hit a little harder? Sure. But a suspended sentence isn't out of the realm of possibility. I mean, I think I would be able to probably get that for a lot of people. Some restitution involved. 1 year of non-reporting probation, staying out of trouble. So, yeah, it's very interesting though what happened to him. Certainly, it's a good thing he's gone now because one less lunatic in the White House in the Biden administration. But yeah, there we go. I just thought it was and yes, he's a suspect out of Minneapolis as well. And I'm sure this is the only time he's ever done that. So, good luck, Sam. Let's see here. Oh, I'm catching up on some of this Ralph Yarl stuff. Jim, you're saying the case law in Missouri is on the homeowner's side, State v. Slaughter. That may be. But remember, this is still who knows what he said, who knows, like, we don't know everything. We don't know what he said because he did speak to the police, it sounds like. Don't talk to the cops. Do not talk to the cops. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's not that simple. Dracula saying they didn't promote him. No, he didn't get promoted. Justin Hancock saying at least he didn't steal Sarah Boone's suitcases. Yeah, that'd have been funny. Yeah, is this body yours, sir? Oh, no, I didn't. This isn't my luggage. Yes, Garrett paste this Troon. Tarkina for $2 saying knock knock. Who is it? Candygram. Yes, Land Shark. Oh. Sean is saying he does know you don't have to be a woman to buy women's clothes. Yes. Yes, he can go buy them. And okay, this is the win for the night. We're only 45 minutes in, but you win, Garrett. Spent rods were Sam's specialty. Yes. Yes, they were. Oh gosh. Pyramid 7 saying he's agreeing to a mental eval as well. Yeah. Well, it's going to be all part of it. Is part of it, like, make sure there's no issues. The court, a court would do that a lot of times to make sure they don't want you coming back. If there's something they can help you address by taking care of this one criminal case, they would want you to. Tarkina saying, how about the other woman had proof he stole her designer clothes? I think it's being investigated, so we'll find out. We'll find out more. And I'm sure there are now people trying to figure out other flights he's taken and whether or not they can find out what he's done. Bass for $2. Thank you, Bass. Saying only trying to make spattered blouse. Yeah. Oh. Eric Foam saying, so we don't have the same rights. I mean, like, look, I'm not going to sit here and say we don't have a two-tier justice system because a lot of times we do, but I don't necessarily know if that's the example here that we'd want to look at and say, this is the example of the two-tier justice system. I don't know if this is that, if we're going to do it right there. So, DD says felonies and he got probation. Well, really, if anybody, if you commit a felony for the first time, absent some mandatory prison sentence or something super bad, you're going to get probation too. I mean, the system does try to give people a shot at redemption and rehabilitation, that we put people in prison because they're people we fear, not because we're mad at them. So, the idea he's ever going to the Hooskow on this first felony, and think about that's his felony. What are you in for? Well, I stole a woman's luggage, and I stole their clothes and wore their panties. Like, you're not going to prison for that. Now, if this is like the third time you've done it, probably, but not the first time. Come on, guys. Like, come on now. I'm just saying. There are times where we do have a two-tier justice system, but this is not necessarily one of them. The fact he got that's a pretty smoking deal for being such a high-profile person. Yeah, that's a bit of an influence issue, but in general, not going to jail, that part's not hard for me to believe at all. Professor Town says no cross-dressing, just puppy play for 18 months. Oh. Alpha Fox is Matt Gaiman. Zero Fox saying, I thought the suitcase was mine, but I misread Boone for Troon. Oh, you guys are just chugging along here. That's a shame, says the dirty secrets, that no one gets prison time. A lot of people, enough people do, though. Yes, is there a dog coughing? Yes, that is Clyde, yes. After we picked him up from the shelter, it appears he got kennel cough while he was there. So when he's sleeping, it's not a big deal, but when he's up and walking around, he does have kennel cough. I'm surprised you guys can hear that. Tarkina granted out 5 memberships. Thank you, Tarkina. I'm sure everybody who got one is also appreciative of that as well. Patty saying, I got a throat cancer patient in my room. I do not. And guys, I know you're worried. He's on medication. It's actually getting better and better every day. I think this is the first time he's really had an issue for the first time. Is he isolated from the other dogs? Yes, and the other dogs have already been vaccinated too, so they'll be all right. Carrie saying, make the dog eat salt. Oh, I don't know if he'll do that. Don't forget about the Rumble Ghetto. I'm trying to catch along in here. You guys are like, I love Sam. Oh my gosh. Okay. From Rumble, NC Native 5 says, I love Sam Brinton and Elysium. Oh. Yes, and Fractal is saying, yes, a guy who steals women's luggage is crazy. No shit. Yes. Yes. Make the dog a hot toddy. No, I'm not making the dog a hot toddy. All right. Actually, if he's walking around, I might be able to pick him up, but we'll see. All right, where are we on to next? We got a list of things here. Derek Chauvin. So his appeal came down. And surprise, surprise. Well, spoiler alert, he still got his convictions upheld. I don't think anybody was expecting that to change, but yes, came out last week. Actually, came out Monday. The Court of Appeals rejected his appeal, and I've read through it a little bit. I disagree with some parts of it. I may go over it and cover it in depth at some point, but there is just, yeah. So the Court of Appeals denied everything. They denied all of his, they denied pretrial publicity. They failed to show the prejudice among the jurors surrounding the trial. But remember, guys, none of these judges are going to put their neck out. It's just like with Ethan Crumbley. None of these judges are going to say, yeah, this is wrong, let him go, because they want to keep being judges. The moment they do that, they've got a target on themselves. Obviously they may, he may appeal to the Minnesota Supreme Court. The issue is there, along with many state Supreme Courts, that is a discretionary review, meaning they don't have to look at it. So it's just like the U.S. Supreme Court. And that's like in Ohio, for example, you have the right to a direct appeal. If you lose, you can appeal to the Supreme Court of Ohio, and, well, maybe they'll take it, but they don't have to. So the courts gave up all the reasons they could take care of things. And the other thing is, even if he won, he's facing 21 years in prison for violating Floyd's civil rights. And he remains incarcerated at a federal prison in Tucson, which for him, federal prison is going to be better than state prison anyway. And also that gets him out of Minnesota. He also appeared from a Zoom hearing to plead guilty for tax evasion out of Minnesota, which I know we talked about being and I remember all the theories of like, oh, well, maybe him and Floyd knew each other as a money thing. It's like, no, he just didn't pay his taxes, which, I mean, okay, well, I mean, good for you not paying your taxes, but it doesn't make you look like a good guy in this situation. And George Floyd's family got $27 million. The city has settled other payments involving Chauvin because apparently they claim that a woman and then her 14-year-old son were pinned to the ground by Chauvin 3 years before this. So yeah, it's all wrapping up. I think Derek Chauvin's just going to be in prison for the next 20 years, and that's going to be it. I don't think the courts in Minnesota are going to hear his appeals. And that said, though, I still think he's guilty of manslaughter. I don't think it was murder, but that's at the end of the day. That's where we are with it. Yes, taxation is theft. And Patty's saying, so if a suspect dies from having swallowed fentanyl while you're restraining him, you go to prison. Now, remember, the thing that fucked Derek Chauvin was standing there on George Floyd's neck, and like on his back when he's doing this, and he's got his hands in his pockets, just going like this to the camera, like, That's what screwed him. That's what screwed him. Looking like he didn't give a shit. And that's a sad thing. That picture there changed everything. So I mean that's really what did him in. If he hadn't done that, I think he'd have been fine. But the guys who really got screwed are the new guys. Guy was like first day on the job and he's in prison now. I mean, how the fuck does that work? Is he supposed to run up to his boss and be like, no, sir, you can't do that. Put your hands up. That's the true tragedies here. I'm not worried about Derek Chauvin as much as the other guys. That was the real problem. But yeah, like I said, well, this will probably be the end for him, the end of the road. Zero Fox says that's Crump's 30%. So Nero saying by all rights, Chauvin is a shit officer, but we know he's convicted because a shithead overdosed. Yeah, but it's not being a shit officer and a shithead yourself would have helped him a lot. So had he acted differently and been a different person, probably would have changed a lot of things there. So that's remember guys, this is sales at the end of the day. And you're trying to sell people like I wasn't a bad guy, I wasn't trying to murder him. But you're standing there and your hands are in your pockets while this guy is dead. And you're just like, well, people are going to think you're a bad guy. So, Mystery Sniper, I'm going to get to that. Chauvin was put away for having resting bitch face. Yeah, he was, but it's... Patty's saying George Floyd was such a model citizen too. That doesn't matter. It's irrelevant to the issue here. I mean, it's just he did not help me. Derek Chauvin was Derek Chauvin's biggest enemy. His partner's got up to 3 years, I think. Yeah, that is awful. So, where are we at right now? His hand was in his pocket. He's wearing black gloves. Well, either way, it doesn't, him standing there like he was, And the fact he just kept standing there, it's not a good look for him. And yeah, I just, at some point, Chauvin not recognizing, oh, the guy's not breathing anymore. Like at some point, I think you should have been able to notice that, especially if you're going to be sitting there like holding that guy down. Like if you can't tell, I mean, that makes you look like a dumbass. So yeah, yeah, it's a look of indifference. Still looks as indifference. Oh, not good for anybody. Not good for anybody. Um, in other, in Ohio related news, it's just because I know here it's starting to, it's starting to get warmer, so protests are starting to increase. Jayland Walker, I know we covered it and talked about it previously. He's the guy who ran from the police here in Akron, that's outside of Cleveland. And at some point, there was the police interpreted as gunfire, and it looks like it's pretty much confirmed as gunfire um, at the police. And then as he bailed out of the car, a bunch of police are chasing him. He turns around and they light him up. They shoot about 90 times. He gets hit about 60 times and he's dead. The police officers that were involved in that are not going to be indicted. The grand jury came back with that last week. Some of you might be wondering, well, why hasn't anything happened outside in the communities? Well, it's been kind of cold here. We've gone from really hot to really cold, and now we're kind of getting back to kind of hot again. So, but yes, Jayland had a taillight out, and and then he decided to, they were gonna they decided not to follow him, but then they saw him later, and then decided to go after him. They started chasing. He went all over the place. He was hauling ass. People like to say, oh, he was doing like DoorDash. It's like, how many people are doing DoorDash with, a balaclava on? I mean, it's one thing to wear a mask, but when you're wearing a mask that makes it look like you're about to go join the SAS on something, ain't looking too good, especially when you're by yourself. Anyways, the officer said he reached for his waistband, and it's hard to see what he does, but he does put his hand down, and then they hit him. Now, I think there's a bit of an issue, the fact that these police fired 30 rounds into a neighborhood, and, everybody's glossing over that fact. Because I get it, you got to stop your threat, but you don't get to stop your threat to the point of being reckless to everybody else in the community. And thankfully, no one else was injured by the police gunfire. So, who knows? I'm surprised that didn't happen. Discharging a firearm, and I guess none of them hit houses because they could have easily been charged for shooting and being reckless in that regard. And the dash cam. Sorry, I saw this earlier too. There was dash cam from one of the police cars that does show that he did shoot. Obviously, when this happened, they're on the freeway, so there's no bullet casing. They couldn't find the casing in the area. There was no gun. There was a gun found in the car, but that was it. So obviously, there's no way to tell when the gun was fired. But it all kind of, So expect things to get a little hot here in Akron as the temperature warms up. So if it does, we'll certainly stream the riots. So that'll be it. I know that's starting to get big news now. So Fractal Fair saying the Code of Hammurabi is how we should organize the legal system. Yeah. He who cringes on another shall have cringe placed upon himself. Oh, and we're not talking about Minnesota and Skull. I hate that. That's all awful. Harper Walrus saying is one officer, 90 rounds. No, it was not. Yeah, it's like in a Boondock Saints. Well, what if there's one guy with 6 guns? Yeah. Jim saying it was 10 cops firing in less than 8 seconds. Yeah, it was, but a couple of those shots were kind of late. And once again, if you're going to use force, You should be responsible for your bullets. And one of the rules is what's your backdrop? And that backdrop was a city. Like they were in the middle of town when they were doing that. So, those cops should be thrilled they didn't hurt anybody because I think they were a little bit fucking reckless with the last bit of those shots. Common Lawyer says a cringe for a cringe. Yes. I need to go. Sweet Tooth saying I need to go see the twin baby polar bears at the Toledo Zoo. Oh, well, they have a nice zoo, but I didn't know that they have new polar bears. So, the did not have this listed, but I thought it was interesting that it's happened. And it's very interesting who's making the issue here is the FBI. They've made a couple of arrests lately. And as much as I want to sit here and say, they did something good here, I'm a little concerned. And this is what they did. And I just think the timing is suspicious. I don't like how they did this. It's that the U.S. citizens and Russian intelligence officers were charged with conspiring to use U.S. citizens as legal agents of the Russian government. Now, when you talk about illegal agents, they're talking about it's called FARA, the Foreign Agent Registration Act. Okay, so if you are working on behalf of a foreign government and taking money from them, you have to register with the government about that, and you designate that you're doing it. Now, you might be working as a lobbyist, or there are other ways you can be accepting money from a foreign government that you have to report. Why? Well, the government likes to think it allows them to keep tabs on things. It cuts down on possible issues of other countries interfering and undermining our capabilities and our government and our society. And it works like that. There are famous examples of this. For example, Michael Flynn, his son, there were issues that he wasn't registered properly working as an agent on behalf of the Turkish government. John Podesta's brother, Tony Podesta, tied to the Clintons, he got caught, but he magically got to go back and retroactively file, and he's done. So what happened here? Well, the people are accused of sowing discord by spreading pro-Russian propaganda and interference in elections inside the U.S. Okay, but spreading pro-Russian propaganda, is that a crime? I don't know. But is it because how you're getting paid, how you're not getting paid? And this is where the 4 U.S. citizens and 3 Russian nationals were charged working with the Russian Federal Security Service, the FSB. Although I thought it was the SVR that does the foreign stuff. The foreign stuff. They conducted a multi-year malign influence campaign in the United States. Okay. Among other conduct, the superseding indictment alleges the defendants recruited and funded and directed U.S. political groups to act as unregistered illegal agents of the Russian government. So, and that's where they're going to try to claim they have some money. No, guys, it's not the ATF. The future Mrs. Martin 2.0 came home. And yes, the Shih Tzu howls like a hound. Actually, hold on. Oh, hold on. All right, buddy. Hi. Since we want to see him, you guys want to see him, here is Dogger. Hi, buddy. All right, there you go. Yep, he's got his cute little sweater on. All right, buddy, there you go. The dog is high. Well, the dog does get hemp treats because he enjoys them. So, and the issue is here with this, I don't like it because, okay, they found some Russians to go after. Okay, great. They're Russian nationals. I don't care. The issues, though, are the people who are involved in this. Augustus Romaine, who goes by Gazy Kadzo. He's basically the African People's Socialist Party, and that's what the APSP is. So they went after black communists. All right, I don't like communists, but I don't necessarily like the FBI going after, who are these people? That's where it becomes an issue. Yes, and it's part of the Uhuru movement. Yes, and it's funny because that's what the Proud Boys say is Uhuru. But yes, the African People's Socialist Party and Black Hammer, which is a political group in Georgia, the FBI is like, look, see, we're cracking down on things. But the timing of it, like, why now? Is it because things are looking bad and you're like, oh, we're being serious on this. We're not just going after Americans and fucking with them on January 6th. Look, see, we go after black people as well and communists. But they go after a couple of these people, the African People's Socialist Party. How many people have these people actually influenced or talked to? Come on. Go there. I guarantee you there's some big fish they can go get on FARA violations. They haven't done it. It's just an excuse for them to say, see, we're doing something. And sure, like I said, you don't have to like them. They're commies. They're communist scum. But this is the government just cracking down on an easy target, which alone should tell you it's bullshit. Jim is 100% on right here. These black nationalist commies have been saying the same shit for years. It's the government trampling on the First Amendment since they got away with Douglas Mackey. Yep. This is just them going after stuff. Bunch of bullshit. Senior SB Barago says, the ooh. Is this the ooh moment? Ooh. Victorio says he's a flaming gay communist who's been arrested for kidnapping and murder. Yeah. Yep. Chaucerian fraud says McCarthy did not go far enough. Okay, that goes without saying. But I think too bad he didn't level some suspicions at the FBI and weed them out at the time. Sniper's Nest saying the black nationalists have a pretty bad record of friendly fire. Yeah, the Not Fucking Around coalition has a really good track record of shooting each other at their marches. Patty saying the FBI got sick of locking up pro-life Catholic fathers for now. Yes, they did. Chaucer's like, did I go back to the Pippa stream? No, you didn't. Oh. So, I just, like I said, guys, none of this is impressive to me. Okay, some Russians may have done something. If you can tie them to the FSB or the SVR or the GRU or any other Russian intelligence agencies, fine, great. But the people involved here, it's like, and is it, like creating the appearance of American popular support for the annexation of the Donetsk People's Republic and the Luhansk People's Republic. Okay, so it's not even we're in a war we're fighting. It's a war we're supporting, but we're not actively involved as a belligerent, and it's third parties involved. So the U.S. is going after people who are spreading propaganda for a proxy war over in the middle of eastern Ukraine. Why are we doing that? Why are we arresting these guys? Like, I would get it if we were fighting Russia, but we're not. This is just, this is just nonsense. Just nonsense. But it's interesting to be careful. Because they're going to say, oh, they're communists and oh, they're black separatists. Okay, great. But remember, it's the FBI telling you all that. So Just be careful watching who you're dealing with. NC Native 5 over on Rumble says, neither McCarthy has done enough to thwart communism. So, Robert Lawrence saying Mark Hamill was hanging out with some Nazis in Ukraine. Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. That was very funny. Yes, he's like, I just like talking to him about the Force and Jedis, and yes, and I like being like the Joker, going hee, just being such a toolbox. Yes, this was absolutely hilarious. Where is the picture of it? Because yes, he did absolutely have a live stream with a couple of Ukrainian Nazi boys. Where is the yeah. Yes. This was just wait, hold on here. Matt Hoover, the CRS firearms case down in Florida, went to the jury today. Oh. Good luck, Matt. If you want to say a prayer to somebody, there you go. Bald Eagle Jerk says, "Ma heckin' Nazareno, sloppy urethra." Oh. Yes. Chessarian Fraud says, all this comparison to Nazis makes me wonder if it's the only part of history Americans know about. It's because we're dealing with the Redditification of the Ukraine war. That's what's going on. It's literally turned into Reddit has now influenced everything. But yes, everything is a Nazi now. Everything is. What else do we have? Move on. What's our next thing here? Yes, I guess we'll cap it off with instead of talking about Young Thugs, I want to wrap this up a little bit. Afro Man. And we talked about this before. What better way for Afro Man to go to court than on 420? And he did. And it's there is some like YouTube spillover here too. And I guess we'll start with that because it is very interesting and it's I thought it was pretty cool. Do you guys think, was he high though? I don't think he was high. Well, Afro Man probably did get high today, but so the first thing I guess we're going to look at for what happened today was an attorney sought admission pro hoc vice, meaning they're not licensed in the state or that jurisdiction, but they're asking to be allowed to practice on a temporary basis, basically for this time only. Robert Barnes, if you're familiar with him, with Viva Fry, he goes all over the country. He gets admitted pro hoc vice all over the place because it's easier to do that than have 50 separate state registrations for the bar. And then remember, every federal court, you have to get admitted to practice to each one of those. And there's 93 of those. And then there's all the circuits, each you have to get admitted to. So after a while, you can just ask to be admitted pro hoc vice, saying, look, I'm admitted over here instead, and I'm in good standing. Can I just practice here? So Bruce Rivers, the criminal lawyer, on his own YouTube channel, which dwarfs mine, my gosh, is being involved with Afro Man. I think him and Afro Man have a bit of a prior relationship. I've actually tried to reach out to him because I don't know if he's got the time for somebody like me, but I always thought it'd be neat to talk to Bruce Rivers. He's got a pretty good channel. I like his reactions to things. He's a very seasoned attorney. And I love his stop self snitching stuff because that's just brilliant. But yeah, he's not afraid to talk about the truth about things. He's going to be helping out Afro Man, which, um, the court finds that this attorney shall be granted permission to appear in this case and participate as co-counsel for Afro Man. Okay. And as long as he's being associated with the case with the attorney here, Tyler Cantrell, an Ohio attorney, and that's how it works. You have to be kind of sponsored or working under an attorney in that jurisdiction, and that's in front of that court. So Bruce Rivers might not show up for every hearing. The attorney in Ohio will, but if there's something big, Bruce Rivers could come out for it. In addition to that, the American Civil Liberties Union is looking to jump in and file an amicus curiae, which means a friend of the court brief. If I didn't have so much going on, I think it'd be hilarious for myself to do that as well. Yes, Nero saying Bruce Rivers, the criminal lawyer. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Gonna listen to some Afro Man tonight. Yes. Sean Pellegrino says, "Dang, the court of common pleas, not the high court." Okay, in Ohio, that's what they're called. It's the court of common pleas because these were you entered common pleas. Traditional, divorces, probate, juvenile court, family court, criminal court, civil court. They're that's the old way we called them. We've called them that forever. Some places are called superior court. Some places are called circuit courts. In Ohio, they're called the Court of Common Pleas, and they handle civil cases over a certain amount. Then felony cases are always heard in Common Pleas Court. So like today, I spent all afternoon in Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court in downtown Cleveland for a criminal matter. Chaucer says, "I wonder if Barnes has an employee who applies for all these permits to practice laws all over the country." Well, you don't ask for a permit. You file a motion for pro hoc vice. You say, "Look, I'm going to be working with Attorney Bob," and the court usually grants it. Yes, this is a very, very interesting part of the discussion, Justin. What side is the ACLU arguing? They're arguing on behalf of Afro Man. But I do think it's fair to say, you never know for sure. You never know for sure. It could easily have gone the other way, dealing with the ACLU. And, you just never know. Okay, I missed the joke. Yes, it's high court now. Yes, Sean, it is. But they did file a motion to dismiss and a motion to strike. And that's where I think we need to actually look at things because it's a very short one. And we're going to skip through parts of this. Why? Because there's a bunch of fluff. There's a bunch of stuff we don't really need to see. And I'm not too worried about here. Okay. What do we have? Well, so it's the first page. Obviously, look at all the people that are on here. Second page, all the people that are on here. The John Doe defendants. This is through his attorney here, Tyler Cantrell, and that's out of West Union. That's in the county, and that's in Adams County. And keep going. The memorandum in support, and yeah, here, this is a case about a performer, an artist acting under the First Amendment, freedom of expression, 100%. The plaintiffs are officers, employees of the sheriff's office. Well, wow, that didn't work right. Afro Man has not been charged as a result of the raid, and that's important. And even if he was, who cares? Nothing has happened with this. This makes it even look worse for the plaintiffs. They want to tamp down and stifle his right to speech. And this is basically a strategic lawsuit against public participation. It's a slap. Ohio does not have an anti-slap statute. So that's the issue. It's kind of one of the problems. But what they're going to do is, in this case, Afro Man's asking for summary judgment saying they fail to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. God, it's hard to say that all at once. And in the alternative, the claim should be stricken for insufficiency and redundancy. We're going to skip the background because we don't need to get to that. Motion to dismiss. Now, in Ohio, it's called 12b6. And if you guys notice, a lot of states it's done that way because they copy the federal rules of civil procedure. And Rule 12b6 under the federal rules is, failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. So, they have to show that there's, the Officer Pound Cake can prove no set of facts upon which his claim of entitlement relief. Okay, well, there we go. And there's a motion to strike any insufficient parts of a pleading, and that's Rule 12F. I've done it before. I've gotten it a couple times, and I've also filed a claim where the court said, actually, we're motion to strike, and then we have to, either dismiss and refile after we've had a chance to rework it. So it does happen. But yes, they are hammering it. Afro Man's attorneys hammering it right away where it should be. The First Amendment to the United States Constitution. The Ohio Constitution does contain a similar amendment for freedom of speech. Every citizen may freely speak, write, and publish his sentiments on all subjects, being responsible for the abuse of the right, and no law shall be passed to restrain or abridge the liberty of speech or of the press. And that's in Ohio's Constitution. It's Article 1, Section 11. Ohio's Constitution is kind of cool because it does, it breaks out a lot of the rights into like pieces of it. So the First Amendment doesn't have all of it at once. There's a freedom of religion and things like that, but it covers it differently, and I like how Ohio does it. But yes, this case is troubling, and his attorney's right. This is not only troubling, it's alarming. The government and its government's agents are suing somebody because they're not happy with the criticism they're receiving. And they're trying to quell and silence the speech. It is interesting here. He talks about like any comparisons of the plaintiffs of fictional characters constitutes the opinion of the defendants. The recorded video of the raid is a verbatim account of what actually occurred. Okay. I mean, so the point is he's not making it up. He's like, here's what happened. Believe me or your lying eyes. The statements allegedly made by the defendants are personal opinions and therefore accountings of the events that occurred. And that's true. It's him literally saying, why did you shut my camera off? Why are you looking at my pound cake? Why did you take my money? Why are you looking at my CDs? Can you fix my door that you kicked in? It's literally on the video. The arguments about the invasion of privacy, and I think this is actually an interesting one here. They gave implied consent when they entered his home, and consent is a complete defense of the tort of misappropriation. Okay, yeah. If you consent to somebody using your likeness, they have the ability to use it. In Ohio, we are a one-party consent state. Therefore, they should have been on notice. They could have been recorded. And even then, they voluntarily entered a premises. It's not his, even if it was a two-party consent state, they showed up to his house. So I don't think that would have been that big an issue. But by entering the home as employees of the sheriff's office, they knew the risk and they could be recorded by other things. And they knew that somebody could record them with a cell phone camera. And yeah, that's it's insufficient, redundant. They ask for it to get dismissed. What are you guys saying here? That's a shame for 199 says, thank you, Sean. Good night, chat. Catch you on the replay. Oh, well, have a nice night. Thanks for stopping by. Yes, Chaucer, you're right. They treated his house like they were searching a cell for contraband. Yep. Oh, let's see here. Yes, lemon pound cake. Carrie saying, "How is it possible for a government employee to sue us, but we can't sue them?" Well, that's the thing here, and that's that this would set up a very unique precedent in Adams County, especially for these officers saying that they're above being sued. Well, not so much, but they're going to lose here, and that's what's going to take care of that. So, um, but yeah, thank you, Carrie. You're saying thank you for the super chat, by the way. How is it legal for the government to sue us when we can't sue them without their permission? Um, you can file a lawsuit. That doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere. In this case, these guys are going to get crushed. It's going to get thrown out. It's just this is happening quicker than it wouldn't happen as quickly as if you had sued them and they would go run and scream, take it to federal court and get qualified immunity. But they're gonna get trounced like they should. I'm not worried about it. Afro Man's gonna be fine. He's gonna kick their ass. He's probably gonna make even more songs about it, which will be hilarious. And I'm really trying to reach out to him, but I might try to reach out and go down there and see if I could find Officer Pound Cake. Show up at the sheriff's office, hello, is Deputy Pound Cake around? Yeah, can I speak to the deputy who disconnects the security cameras? Can I talk to the guy who kicked in the door? Why didn't you fix his door? And then they talk about with the false light publicity. They talk about the restatement of torts. Okay. I probably should have covered this. The restatement of torts. When you get to law school, torts are, for example, civil action, suing people for things. In this case, false light, infliction of emotional distress, battery, conversion of property, personal injury, those types of things. Well, there's restatements of those law topics, and there's a restatement of contracts, there's a restatement of torts. And these are kind of like the general, they're kind of like overall surveys that you can rely on for the most part in a jurisdiction. So the restatement of torts, it's you could rely on it all over the place. Gives you arguments from all over the country of things. It's the issue with false light is, and here's the point, I think, and it's brought up well, the statement must be untrue. It's on video what they did, and he said it. The statement must be publicized. Okay, well, that part's true. And the misrepresentation must be serious enough to be highly offensive to a reasonable person. Okay, well, it's true, so it already fails, but let's just skip that part for now. It's highly offensive to a reasonable person. Is it highly offensive to a reasonable person that they got caught for doing something that they should be ashamed of and are embarrassed by? No, that wouldn't be that's not going to be valid. Iron Age Phlebotomist says, I'm late. Can you start over? It's only 11 o'clock. All right. Good evening, everybody. Hello. Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Yes, happy 420, everybody. No, we're not starting over. 7-Eleven's an inside job. Hey, man, I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, buddy, missed most of your streams. You're late, and I have to work early. Appreciate your picks on the farms, though. Hey, that's good to see you back around a little bit. So, yes, Alpha Fox, yes, because you've just been through law school, yes. They are written by legal experts, and states can adopt parts of them or not. But it's meant to give you, I can crack it open, and there's a bunch of different ways I can make arguments and drawing from different states on topics, and they go topic by topic. So, for example, all the different types of torts that are out there, false light, misappropriation of identity and persona. There's like a million subheadings. So it's kind of like a dictionary of tort topics with case laws in them. And then further, they talk about, though, going back to the falseness of it. The defendant must have knowledge or acted with reckless disregard to the falsity of the publicized matter. None of it's false. He's literally reporting and talking about what happened. And they point out here that comparing somebody to Family Guy doesn't make you a false statement. Making fun of people, mocking them is not a false statement because nobody really believes he's Peter Griffin. It's completely satire and jest. And then neither is using the raid of a video conducted in your own home. They're all statements and opinions that are not false. You're allowed to have an opinion. This guy looks like Peter Griffin. Well, that's false light. Why? It's my opinion. My opinion can't be false. And then this one here, I think, is actually really good by his attorneys. They point out this idea, this nonsense of these statements are of concern to the public and that they're right to be secure in their own home. Well, they act under the authority of the sheriff's office, and that's a legitimate public concern. You're acting as the constabulary. You are acting on behalf of the government. That is a legitimate interest. You have the right to comment on your government doing government business on the government's time, especially when it happens to you. And you have the right to redress. So, and this is the part here. Any person under the sheriff's office jurisdiction would have the right to information about this unlawful search, and they would have the right to be concerned about it. Because let's say he goes to a meeting of the county commissioners, or he goes standing on the corner with a billboard saying, "The police illegally searched my home." Well, under this logic, the sheriff's deputies, they could go silence him. No, you have the right to redress the government. And they go on to part E and they talk about the injunction, and the injunction is not proper. It's not the proper way to deal with speech. And yeah, they simply say it's not proper. It violates the First Amendment and free speech in Ohio, so it should be stricken. As far as their personas having commercial value, under the plain language of the statute, the plaintiff must allege their name, voice, signature, photograph have distinct commercial value. Well, these are a bunch of schlub cops in Ohio, in Hee-Hawville. They got what do they have? They have no way of doing that. And you can't. You need to recover on a claim, but you have to be a public figure, or even a limited public figure might have a case. These guys aren't. They have no commercial value. You don't need to be a national celebrity, but it demonstrates there's at least some value in associating with them. And none of that's here. Nobody cares about Officer Poundcake or the lady disconnecting the security cameras. They only point out that they've suffered humiliation, ridicule, and mental distress. Okay, well, that's too bad. Too fucking bad. It's what you get. When you act like a bunch of ham-fisted Keystone cops, yeah, people are going to treat you like crap. They're going to wonder what the hell you're doing. And yeah, that's it. I mean, that's literally their motion, just saying this is how bullshit it is. And they're done. And I hope it gets crushed. It probably will get crushed. The judge is probably just going to take his time to rule on it. Carrie saying the pig needs to prove that he didn't want the pound cake. Yes. Did you find what you was looking for? You can have that pound cake. Just don't kick in my door. Two Scoops saying even if Afroman is making representations, he's showing all the facts. There aren't any hidden facts here. I think so too. Even if he was, but I mean, here's the deal though. If he had done that, it would have made no sense, and he would have been able to make money off of it because people would have been like, "What the hell are you doing, Afroman? This is dumb." So I get what you're saying there. And I think that's legally correct, but that really would have even flopped harder. He wouldn't have made any money. 7-Eleven saying happy birthday, Uncle A. Yeah. Oh. Oh, is worse than the lawsuit against Afroman is worse than Monty's case against Nick, and that's saying something. Yeah, I can't comment on that. Boomer, bring the lawsuit back up. Oh, did I not have it up? Oh, son of a bitch. Justin Hancock saying constabulary. That's a nice SAT word. Yes, it is a very good SAT word. Yes. Yes. Fornicate the constabulary. Should I say a little more officially? Yes. Thou shalt fornicate the constabulary. Yes. Fornicate the constabulary as you come directly from a subterranean area. Porcelain Thunder says, didn't that Sam Nuclear guy get in trouble for redressing the government? Yeah. Yes. Dude. Oh. Mystery Sniper saying they filed personally, not with the sheriff's office. Yes, but they claim that they're acting in their official capacities, which is going to probably end up drawing the sheriffs into this at some point. So they're probably going to get in trouble for that, as I hope they do. You guys over on Rumble, you're calling them lol pigs. Yes, that's very appropriate. The lol pigs. You guys saying can't see the documents. So, yeah, sorry, I'm ad-libbing a little bit there. Patty saying that pound cake did look delicious. It didn't look too bad on camera, especially in the light. It probably will look better in like HD. Jim is saying, yeah, they would have gotten into 1983 trouble if his official capacity or if the government tried to stifle his speech. Yeah, but I mean, I think they're kind of straying into that territory already because they're claiming. I mean, in their initial complaint, they claim they're acting as well. They're not acting under government authority, so are they covered under 1983? Because if they're filing this as individuals, it's almost like they're waiving their governmental authority, which I don't know if you can really do, but it seems like that would almost open them up to getting short circuited on a 1983 claim. But then you run into issues of like, since he's filed in state court, are we going to have like res judicata issues? But that's wow, I'm getting that's a lot farther going down the road there. Getting a lot farther down the road. So we'll just leave that alone. And that is actually going to be, yeah. Demon's Wrath says, disloyal shyster piggus. Porcelain Thunder saying no chili. Not particularly. Chili's lawsuit, it's fucking weak sauce. It's like his other stuff, man. It's just garbage. It's just garbage. I might look at his new trifold, but he's really just there's just nothing there. Chili's kind of just been, kind of boring to me at least. Oh, and yes, we'll get to this, and we're gonna cover the funny story. And real quick, Chaucer's asking though, this is the anniversary of Columbine. Was that the first media covered school shooting? What effect do you think the media had on mass shootings? Well, there were a couple of them though. There was like Jonesboro, Arkansas was one of them. Paducah, Kentucky was one of them. But yeah, Columbine was the first one that got really big coverage, like big coverage. I think it had an effect. I mean, it was the first one. It's kind of like the Rose Bowl. It's the granddaddy of them. You do it like that Keith guy. It's like it's the granddaddy of them all, like Columbine shooting. But yeah, I definitely think it had an effect. It certainly had a massive effect. That happened the year before I started high school. So yeah, it definitely had a big effect. So, but yes, the last story, and this just reeks of being on Goodfellas. Um, a a gold shipment was stolen out of Canada, and it reads out of an airport. Oh, $100 million. Yes, $100 million of gold was stolen from a Canadian airport, and it very much sounds like almost out of Goodfellas, like the Lufthansa heist. Um, the police are investigating $20 million of high value cargo stolen from the airport. So it's about 3,600 pounds of gold is missing, um, which is about $100 million. Now that sounds like a lot, but you could put 3,600 pounds of stuff in a dump truck. So who knows where it went? A lot of places it could go. Um, yes, the police are not calling it a professional job. I don't know. Knowing that 3,600 pounds, $100 million of something was coming through and you stole it, you probably are a pro. I mean, I'm gonna think you're a pro. I don't know why anybody else wouldn't think you're a pro. Um, Jim is saying it sounds like Julie, Ricky, and Bubbles finally got the Freedom 45. Yeah. Yes. Mystery Sniper says a pickup can carry that no problem. Well, mine can. Yeah, you can get something. It doesn't take much to find a truck. I mean, especially in Canada, find a truck that can carry, you know, ton and a half. Not too bad. Oh, yeah, it's like DB Cooper a little bit. Yep. Ag saying the same thing. Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. So, um, and it all was all in one container and at a high value shipment. It did contain gold, but not just gold, but other expensive items. Yeah, it's not a professional job, but they knew what they were stealing. Not only they were just stealing random, cargo bins. But yes, it's just like the Lufthansa heist. Um, so it's not the first time this has happened, though. Uh, happened in the 1950s. $215,000 worth of gold bullion was stolen. Doesn't look like it was ever recovered. Um, and then apparently in Canada, a guy stole $17 million in syrup. Yes, apparently in Canada, somebody stole $17 million in maple syrup. That's a lot of syrup. That's a lot of syrup. Why didn't I answer you? What did you say? I didn't see what you said. So it's a crying shame says, what it's like, hold on, it's like you gotta like do the bong. I like what if we're like Canada's Mexico? Yeah. It's like saying a bicycle's an acoustic guitar. Um, Joe Biden, yes. Hello, friends. Oh, speaking of that, I didn't set up locals tonight. Damn it. All right, well, we're gonna do locals in a minute anyway, guys. So yes, Ports and Thunders. Why did you do that, Karen? Yes, Peter is right. Quebec has a strategic stockpile of syrup to manipulate prices. Yep, and that's weird. Although the interesting thing is you can like put syrup in barrels and it lasts for years and years and years. As long as you keep it in a warehouse and keep it, somewhat cool. Yeah, sometimes I do, but like your one you asked way back when about Columbine, I had saved it. I just hadn't found a good spot to talk about it yet. Dee Dee saying $100,000 in dimes were stolen. That's a lot of dimes. Joe Lloyd says all countries have food stockpiles. Yes, but stockpiling syrup is that's pure Canada right there. Jay Christmas is saying maple syrup is more than gas these days, as we can't sell oil to the United States. Yeah, yep. And then Sparico's saying over on the Rumble Ghetto, is Canada basically the OPEC of syrup? Yes. Yes, they are. Yes, Jim is right. They do. There is syrup smuggling across the Great Lakes. People will smuggle syrup into America. That is a 100% true thing to avoid the tariffs. What food do we stockpile? Hamburgers. We stockpile hamburgers. Dead BQ saying, "Have you not read John Ringo?" I mean, like you're talking about like the Last Centurion, or did he write a book about syrup production? So yeah, and I just thought that was an interesting one there. It's just like a rehashing of the Lufthansa heist. Oh, you guys are the Syrupians. Yes, we stockpile ammo. Porcelain Thunder's right. People used to smuggle toilets across the border when initially the low flow stuff happened. The high flow toilets were like a big deal. Um, Furby saying, yeah, 18. Yes, last week I think 18,000 cattle did get burned up in a barn. Which, listening to that and all those cows mooing, it was so sad, so sad. So, but that's it for tonight, guys. That's it for me. Good luck, Canada. Hope you find all that gold. Can't make any more loonies or toonies. Uh, all the cows burning must have smelled delicious. I mean, maybe. I mean, remember it's all the cowhide burning too, though. So, okay, we're done talking about syrup, guys. We're done. We're done. All right, guys. That's it for tonight. Thank you, everybody here, everybody in Rumble, everybody on YouTube. Thank you for the chats, super chats. If you guys haven't seen it, the Matthew Moore interview is still up. I recommend it. I thought it was very good. At the very least, the parts where Connie was able to come in and talk after she got her stuff sorted out, was really cool. Was really, really neat. Um, and listening to her and Matt talk was really, really something to behold. 7-Eleven saying, "Oh, do a Sunday Saturday stream." A little busy getting ready for a trial and some other things, so probably not. And then yeah, if you know fill out a rental application, 7-Eleven, I'll come maybe let you live here. So that's it for me tonight, everybody. And remember, until next time, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Good night, guys.